Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they don't have the opportunities. They fail because they're addicted to being the way they are. And I mean that literally. Your brain is wired to keep you the same. It craves familiarity, even when that familiarity is the very thing holding you back. Think about how many times you've tried to change. You set a goal, you get fired up, you swear that this time will be different. And for a little while, maybe it is. You wake up early, you eat better, you put in the work. Then, without even realizing it, you slip back into old habits. One missed workout turns into a week. One cheat meal turns into a downward spiral. One day of procrastination leads to an entire project being abandoned. Now, why is that? Because your brain is addicted to who you've always been. It's not just a pattern, it's a chemical dependency. Every time you think, act, or react in a certain way, your brain strengthens neural pathways that make those responses automatic. And over time, those patterns become your identity. So even when you say, I want to be better, your subconscious mind fights back. Not because it wants you to fail, but because it wants you to stay the same. This is why change feels so hard. Your mind resists discomfort, even if discomfort is the price of growth. Your habits cling to convenience, even if convenience is killing your potential. Your identity is tied to your past, even when your future is begging you to break free. But here's the good news. Just like you trained your brain to stay the same, you can train it to change. You don't need a miracle. You don't need the perfect moment. You don't need motivation to strike like lightning. What you need is to rewire your identity, one decision at a time. You got to catch yourself in the act. When you start slipping into old patterns, pause. Ask yourself, is this who I want to be? If not, interrupt the cycle. You got to make discomfort your new normal. Growth hurts. Change is awkward. Your brain will scream, go back, but that's the signal you're on the right track. And then take small, consistent actions. Your brain doesn't trust sudden, extreme changes. It trusts repetition. If you want a new identity, act like that person every single day. And then surround yourself with new standards. If the people around you are also stuck in their old patterns, you will be too. So change your environment and you'll change your life. And most importantly, stop telling yourself the story that you just are a certain way. Like, I'm just not disciplined. I've never been good at sticking to things. Or this is just how I am. No, this is just how you've been. Who you are is a decision you make every single day. The truth is, you can change. You just have to be willing to break your addiction to the old you. The next time your old self tries to drag you back, remind yourself, I am not addicted to who I was. I am committed to who I am becoming. There comes a moment in life when you feel stuck. Maybe you've outgrown your current situation. Maybe a path you once followed no longer inspires you. Or maybe you've built an identity around something that no longer serves you. In that moment, you have two choices. You can stay where you are, or you can evolve into something greater. Reinvention isn't about abandoning who you are. It's about expanding into who you were always meant to be. It's about recognizing that your past does not define your future and that transformation is always possible. Some people fear change, believing it signals failure. But the real failure is staying the same when you know you were meant for more. Reinvention is a natural part of life. Look at the seasons. Nothing stays the same. Trees let go of their leaves in the fall, not because they failed, but because shedding the old makes way for the new. And the same applies to you. Growth requires change, and sometimes that means letting go of an outdated version of yourself so that something greater can take its place. Throughout history, civilizations have adapted, rebuilt, and reinvented themselves. Those who resisted change faded into the past, while those who embraced reinvention thrived. The same principle applies on a personal level. Those willing to evolve will always find new doors opening before them. So why do so many people hesitate to reinvent themselves? Because it's uncomfortable. Change is uncertain. It requires stepping into the unknown. But ask yourself, what's more terrifying? Taking a risk to grow, or looking back years from now and realizing you let fear keep you from becoming your best self? Many people tell themselves they're too old, too far behind, or it's too late. These are just excuses disguised as logic. Reinvention doesn't have an expiration date. It's not reserved for the young or those who have it all figured out. It's for anyone who's willing to start. Reinvention isn't about making one dramatic shift overnight. It's about making intentional choices that lead to transformation. Here's how to begin. First, embrace discomfort. Growth never happens inside the comfort zone, so reinvention is meant to challenge you. If it feels uncomfortable, that's the sign that you're on the right path. Second, let go of the old identity. Sometimes we cling to roles, relationships, or habits that no longer serve us. You are not your job. You are not your past mistakes. You are not the person you were yesterday. The moment you release the outdated version of yourself, you create space for something new to emerge. Third, take small, consistent steps. Reinvention doesn't happen in a single leap. It happens in the daily choices you make. Read a book, learn a new skill, change a habit, shift your environment. Small actions repeated over time create massive transformation. Fourth is surround yourself with growth-minded people. The people around you influence your mindset. Surround yourself with those who challenge you to become better, not those who keep you tied to who you used to be. And number 5 is believe in the future you haven't met yet. The most important part of reinvention is belief. It's a belief that your best days are ahead of you, not behind you. You may not know exactly what's coming, but trust that you are capable of stepping into something greater. Every choice you make today is shaping the future version of you. You are never stuck. People stay stuck not because they can't change, but because they believe they can't. But you are not rooted in one place. You are not bound by your past. You can grow, you can evolve, you can reinvent yourself. If you feel like you've reached a dead end, maybe it's not the end at all. Maybe it's the beginning of a new version of you. We've all been there, sitting on an idea, a dream, or a goal, waiting for the stars to align, for everything to be just right. And we tell ourselves, I'll start when I'm ready. I'll start when it's perfect. But let me tell you something, if you're waiting for perfect, you'll be waiting forever. I remember my first attempts, my early videos, the rough drafts, the projects I now look back on and cringe. The sound was bad, my delivery was awkward. I stumbled over my words and over myself. But here's what matters. I started. Because starting isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to show up as you are, willing to try, willing to learn and improve as you go. That's how greatness begins, not with perfection, but with action. We've all seen someone who's incredible at what they do, like a speaker or an athlete, an entrepreneur, and we think, wow, they were born for this. But what we don't see are the messy beginnings, their struggles, the awkward starts they had, the years of trial and error before they ever got good. No one starts as a master. No one. Every great success story begins the same way, with a decision to begin, imperfectly, boldly, and sometimes clumsily. You see, starting is where the magic happens. It's where you take an idea that's living in your head and breathe life into it. Starting creates momentum. It builds confidence. It moves you forward, even if the steps are small. But if you wait, if you tell yourself, I'll start when I'm ready, you're robbing yourself of a chance to grow. You're letting fear win. And here's the thing about fear, it's a liar. Fear tells you that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that people will judge you. But fear forgets to mention that the only way to get better is to begin. So let this be a reminder. Start now. Start scared. Start messy. Start imperfect. Write the book, even if the first words are awful. Post the video, even if the editing isn't perfect. Step on stage, even if your voice shakes. Launch the business, even if you're not sure how it will go. Because perfection is a myth, and progress comes with action. You adjust, you improve, you get better along the way. It's like the sculptor working with a rough block of stone. If they waited for the perfect vision of the final masterpiece before touching the tools, nothing would ever be created. Instead, they chip away at it, bit by bit, until beauty emerges. Well, you're the sculptor. Your dream is the masterpiece, but you can't shape it until you pick up the tools and get to work. Stop waiting. Stop overthinking. The starting line is right in front of you, and the only thing you need to do is take one step. That's it. One small, imperfect step forward. Because in a year from now, you won't regret the mistakes you made while trying. You'll regret not starting sooner. So whatever it is that's been living inside you, start now. Your future self will thank you for the courage to begin. Imagine a tiny drop of water hitting a rock. One drop alone does nothing. But drop after drop, day after day, the seemingly unmovable rock starts to wear down. That's the power of consistency. It's not about one massive effort. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. See, we live in a world that celebrates big wins and overnight successes. But here's the truth no one likes to talk about. Behind every overnight success are years of consistent, quiet effort. There's a grind, a routine, a series of small steps that lead to big leaps. The secret sauce to success? Well, it's not talent, luck, or even timing. It's consistency. Momentum doesn't appear out of thin air. It's built through repetition, through habit, through showing up when no one is watching. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you're adding fuel to your momentum. You're laying one brick in the foundation of the life you want to create. Too often we underestimate the small things. We think, one skipped workout won't hurt, or I'll start working on my dream tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week into next month, and before you know it, you're stuck in the same place, wondering, why hasn't life changed? Truth is, life changes when you do. Consistency doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence. It's okay to slip up, to miss a day, to make a mistake. What matters is getting back on track. Momentum is forgiving, but it demands one thing: commitment. Consistency compounds. Every rep at the gym strengthens your body. Every page you read sharpens your mind. Every hour you invest in your craft pushes you closer to mastery. These efforts may seem small in the moment, but they add up over time. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's tiny. It takes effort to get it moving, but as it rolls, it picks up speed, growing larger and faster with every turn. That's how momentum works. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes to keep going. And suddenly, you are unstoppable. Let's be real, consistency isn't glamorous. It's not always exciting or fun. There will be days when you don't want to do it, when the bed feels warmer than the gym, when Netflix seems more tempting than working on your goals. And that's where most people stop. They let comfort win. But comfort is the enemy of progress. Growth lies in discomfort. And those moments when you push through resistance and do the hard things anyways, that's where growth is. Here's the beautiful thing about consistency. It puts the power back in your hands. You don't have to rely on momentum, luck, or external circumstances. You just have to decide every single day to take one small step forward. Picture the life you want to create. Maybe it's a successful career, a healthier body, or a more peaceful mind. Whatever it is, the blueprint is in your hands. You don't need to make giant leaps. You just need to keep laying the bricks, one action at a time. The question is, can you commit? Can you embrace the grind, the routine, the unglamorous work that no one else sees? Because that's where greatness is built, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Right now, take a hard look at your life. Where have you been inconsistent? What dreams have you been putting off because you're waiting for the right time or the perfect plan? The right time is now. The perfect plan is to start where you are with what you have. Commit to consistency, not for a week, not for a month, but for a life. Because if you show up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, success becomes inevitable. You'll wake up one day and realize the life you've built is everything you dreamed of. So let's work together. Let's build momentum. Let's prove day by day that consistency is the most powerful force in the world. Your future self is counting on you. Let's get clear on something right now. Your biggest competition isn't out there. It's not your colleague, your friend, or some stranger on social media. It's you. The battle is between the version of you who's playing small and the one who knows you're capable of more. It's you versus you every single day. The problem is too many people blame the world for where they are in life. They look at others and think, well, if I had what they had, I'd be winning too. Well, no one is holding you back except the person in the mirror. It's not your circumstances. It's not your lack of resources. It's you, your habits, your excuses, your beliefs. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? Or how many times did you quit when things got tough? That's your opponent right there. The version of you that settles, slacks off, and lets discomfort dictate your actions. If you're tired of falling short, you need to outwork, outthink, and outlast that version of yourself. The truth is, comfort is your enemy. Every time you take the easy route, you reinforce a habit that holds you back. Comfort whispers lies, telling you to stay safe, stay small, stay the same. But growth only comes when you push through discomfort. The difference between existing and excelling lies in the choices you make when no one's watching. The greatest athletes, artists, and leaders, they don't compete with others, they compete with themselves. Every day they aim to be a little better than they were the day before. And it's not about perfection, it's about progress. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to become a better version of yourself on a regular basis. So let's get practical. Winning against yourself starts with the small stuff. So did you get out of bed when your alarm went off, or did you hit snooze? Did you give 100% today, or did you coast through it all? Did you focus on your goals, or did you scroll your life away on social media? See, every small decision counts. Success isn't about grand moments. It's built in those small daily choices. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you win. Every time you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you win. And every time you push just a little bit more than you thought you could, you close the gap between who you are today and who you want to be in the future. And stop comparing yourself to others. Their journey isn't yours. You don't know what they had to sacrifice, and frankly, it doesn't matter. What matters is how much you're growing. The only person you need to be is the one you were yesterday. Let's be clear, this isn't easy. There will be days you feel tired, discouraged, or tempted to quit. But those moments are where winners are made. Winners don't quit. They adjust, regroup, and keep going. If you fall, you get back up. If you fail, you learn and try again. Winning isn't about never falling, it's about never staying down. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the author of your story. And if the life you're living isn't what you want, you have the power to change it. But change requires action, and action requires that you show up and fight every day against yourself. The good news is you don't have to make massive changes overnight. Focus on small wins, 1% better every day. Over time, those small wins will compound, and one day you'll wake up and realize you've become the person you always knew you could be. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. Today, you decide. Will you win, or will you let yourself off the hook again? Your future is watching, and it's time to fight. The other day I was out for a walk. Now normally it's my time to clear my head, get some fresh air, reset. But on that day I was walking with a sore hip, and every step sent a dull ache through my side, and I couldn't help but think about it. As I passed people along the path, I realized something. None of them knew I was in pain. I looked just like anyone else going about their day. But inside, I was dealing with something. And that's when it hit me. We have no idea what other people are going through. We see faces, we exchange greetings, we pass each other by, but we never really know what someone else is carrying with them. Everyone is dealing with something, and most of the time, we have no clue. Maybe it's physical pain, like the soreness I felt. Maybe it's something deeper, like emotional pain, the kind that no one can see but weighs a person down. Maybe it's financial stress, trying to make ends meet while putting on a brave face. Or perhaps it's the quiet struggle with mental health, anxiety or depression that can feel like a heavy fog even when the sun is shining outside. Think about your own life. How many times have you smiled at someone or told them that you were fine when, deep down, you were anything but? We all do it. We keep going, even when we're hurting, even when things aren't okay. And the people around us, well, they do the same thing. They're fighting battles we know nothing about. That's why compassion matters so much. On that walk, I realized something important. Just as no one knew what I was feeling, I didn't know what they were dealing with either. The person I passed could have been carrying a pain far greater than mine. They might have been going through a breakup, grieving a loss, or stressing over unpaid bills. Truth is, we never really know. But what we can do is offer a bit of kindness, a bit of understanding. We can remember that everyone we meet has their own story, their own struggles, and their own moments of hardship. Maybe they're not wearing their pain on the outside, but it's there, just like mine was that day. So the next time you cross paths with someone, whether it's a stranger on the street, a colleague at work, or a friend, remember that they might be dealing with something you can't see. And just like you need grace on your hardest days, they might need it too. Like a smile, a kind word, a little patience. These small gestures can make a big difference. You never know how much someone might need it. We're all in this together, doing our best to get through life, one step at a time, sore hips and all. Let's show a little more compassion. Because at the end of the day, we're all dealing with something, and sometimes that small act of kindness is exactly what someone needs to keep going. Imagine for a moment that every day you wake up with a clean slate. What if instead of letting yesterday's worries weigh you down, you started fresh with a world of possibilities before you? What if instead of focusing on what could go wrong, you shifted your attention to what could go right? We know that most times when we face a challenge, our mind races through worst-case scenarios. But what if you use that energy to visualize your success instead? What if you believe that every step you take brings you closer to your dreams? What if you could see failure not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone? What if you saw setbacks as a learning experience, or just one more way not to reach your destination? Failure is not permanent. It's just an obstacle to overcome. So what if you viewed your own setbacks with the same perspective? Each obstacle could be a chance to learn, grow, and improve. What if you stopped comparing yourself to others? It's easy to look at someone else's achievements and feel like you're falling short, but what if you recognize that your journey is unique? What if you embraced your own strengths and celebrated your progress, no matter how small? Remember, every great achievement started with a single step, and every person you admire started from where you are now. What if you believed in the power of your own thoughts? Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of positivity, you'll grow a beautiful life. But if you let weeds of doubt and negativity take root, they'll overshadow your potential. What if you made a habit of nurturing positive thoughts and affirming your worth? What if you chose to focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't? What if you realized that you already have everything you need within you to succeed? It's easy to feel like you're missing something crucial, but what if you recognized your inner strength and resources? You have resilience, creativity, and determination. What if you've tapped into these qualities more often? Imagine what you could achieve if you truly believed in your own power. What if you embraced the idea that you're the author of your own story? Each day is a new page, and you have the power to write the next chapter. What if you stopped letting negative thoughts dictate your narrative? Instead, what if you took charge and wrote a story of courage, hope, and triumph? So today I challenge you to ask yourself, what if? Embrace the possibility that your life can be better than you imagine. Believe in your own strength and potential. You are the author of your story, and your future is full of possibilities.